What is up, guys? It's Ivaldi Sako. Welcome to the Ivaldi Sako podcast. In this episode, we're going to see whatever you saw in the title of this podcast, of course, and more precisely, how to actually get what you want easily and not stay stuck. Not let the devil prevent you from succeeding and maybe make you fail when you are getting successful. How to enjoy your day-to-day life more and enjoy the journey so that you keep going and actually get to your goals without giving up, because this would be the end of your dreams and goals and of what God has planned for you. You don't want that, right? So and by the way, if you're Christian, it's going to serve you a lot. If you're not Christian, it's still going to serve you tremendously, right? If you don't believe in God, it's still going to serve you tremendously. But if you do, it's going to serve you a little bit more because you actually believe what I'm going to tell you as, something really important. And I didn't have this, I just knew I'm going to talk about this just right now. So it's actually it's kind of a special thing that you're watching this right now, especially if you're new here. And I'm also going to tell you about what it takes to really win at a high level, the 5 steps to change your life, and the one hardest and most important skill entrepreneurs must learn to become successful and stay and remain successful. And also why you must stop wanting something to finally get it. And I'm also going to tell you about how the devil make you fail and prevent you from succeeding very slowly in very just ways that you don't notice at first. And I'm going to tell you how to notice these things, these patterns that happen when the devil just makes you fail slowly on the long term and you don't really realize it until you do what I'm going to tell you about and how I actually noticed that. And I'm going to tell you how to fix that and to prevent this from happening. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ivaldi Sako, and I'm really happy that you're here. Here, I basically document the journey. I basically document my journey to help you become truly free and successful, help you live a great and awesome life, because life is a lot of suffering, and we might as well make it worth it. And if you're Christian, well, I talk about faith-based things as well, because I am Christian. And so I talk about things that just serve anyone that will be, anyone that is an entrepreneur, but also anyone that just wants to grow and have a better life. And if you're Christian, it's a good bonus, because I'm Christian, so I talk about the perspective that is exactly something that someone that you could trust more, right? Because I have these values, I believe in Jesus Christ, but if you don't believe in those things, if you don't believe in God, I just talk about things that I go in the trenches. I'm actually building a business, right? I'm not a millionaire yet, I'm not a billionaire yet, but I'm closer maybe to your goals. I'm maybe closer to people that make 100K per month, right? Less these people. I think I can serve a lot, tremendously. I'm actually certain of that because I've actually already did. And I just if this inspires you, if this interests you, I think you will find it extremely useful to listen to the show. And so if you think this will serve you more than it will disserve you, ask yourself, this show will serve me more. Well, maybe you could think of subscribing. If you do, hey, welcome. I'm really happy you do. And I'm glad that some of you actually talk to me, right? Just actually if you come to me and message me on social media or anything, I will take some time to answer because I don't usually go too much on there, but I'll be happy to talk to you, right? Anyway, let's get into it. And if you like this episode, share it with some friend that you think it might help, and subscribe to not miss the next episode because it's going to be tremendously useful. And actually, I think you should do this right now. If you think what I talked about right now could serve you, hey, why do yourself a disservice? Actually, subscribe right now to not forget and miss the next episodes and the tremendous value I'm going to bring to you, because I talk about things that nobody talks about because I talk about my actual experience, right? So let's go. First thing, I listen to Founder, the podcast Founder. So already I've just given you an excellent source of information. The podcast called Founder, right? It's just an insanely valuable podcast, right? Actually, I think it's more valuable than this one because he just the time he talks about different things, right? He talks about mostly books and autobiographies that he learns from, previous founders or just really successful people. And this is very useful. It is very useful. And on one of them, and he doesn't talk much about faith, for example. He doesn't talk much about, things that I talk about, because I'm just like, I get more precise, I think, in the things that I talk about. He talks about mostly like books and biographies, but it's still very useful. Anyway, on one of these episodes, he talks about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and he takes this from the Tim Grover books. I think it's called Relentless. I've listened to this book, to the audiobook. It's pretty good, and it tells you basically about how Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, one of the highest level of success in their own field, right? How they got there and what they do, how they behave to get there. And he was saying these things that I found extremely useful. They are super competitive. Like they just, like in anything, they just find ways to they just always want to win. They only care about this. They care about winning all the time. And most of them, they hate losing. And I noticed like this is I think a lot of time entrepreneurs in general, they hate losing. And it's the case for me. I absolutely despise losing so much that I just will do a lot of things to just not lose. I don't want to win so much, but I don't want to lose. I would hate losing. And so they are like this, and they do whatever it takes and are willing to completely change their personal lives to win. And this is something, sometimes you're attached to your current ways of living, to your current habits. You got to be able to detach completely and to deny yourself, right? Deny your life. This is what in a passage from the Bible, like Jesus says, if you want to follow me, you need to take your cross, deny yourself, and then follow me, right? Something like that. Of course, I'm just paraphrasing. I don't have the Bible in front of me. And you got to be willing to change completely your life, even your personal life, right? You got to be able to cut people off. You got to be able to play at different times, right? For example, when I started to just get calls. So I live in France, right? And my business, we serve people in the US, or actually in the US, UK as well. But the way I did it, I needed to do calls. I needed to do sales calls to get clients, right? And so at one point, I just shifted completely my life. It wasn't comfortable to do so, but I was willing to change the time I ate, right? The time I did a lot of things. The time I went to the gym. I loved going to the gym at 5 p.m. I saw a lot of my old friends there, and I just loved the vibe there. But I started going to the gym at 11 a.m. so I could take calls in the US because of the time difference, right? At 5 p.m., right? And so I did this because I was willing to do whatever it takes to win, right? I was not attached to my current way of living. And this is the first thing you need to do. Just detach yourself completely and be willing to do whatever it takes to win and change even your personal life. Also, they focus on the fundamentals. And this is one of the most crucial things. A lot of times, especially when you're starting, you're trying to overcomplicate things. You try to do a lot of things and you go kind of shallow in a lot of things. You don't go deep in one thing. And you need to go deep in the fundamentals, in the most important things. So for example, they just focused on the fundamentals on basketball, like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. They just focused on the fundamentals. Michael Jordan was, I think he was noticing that his daughter was taking basketball courses and in class, and they were teaching her a lot of things, a lot of different techniques and everything, a lot of things that just Michael Jordan just almost didn't use. It was not useful. And so he told her, just don't focus on that, just focus on the fundamentals. These things I'm going to tell you about. I don't remember what the fundamentals were in basketball, but you need to know what are the fundamentals, the most important things in your industry, in your field, in your business, in your life, right? And I'm going to tell you about one of the fundamentals, the most important skills you need to develop as an entrepreneur toward the end, I think, of this show, because this is one of the fundamentals. You need to master this. And once you master this, everything else becomes easier. Everything else, like, and he was saying, like, once you master the fundamentals, you're just so good at them that it becomes so easy to take. So I think it was Michael Jordan, or maybe Kobe saying this, like, you're just so good at one point that it becomes so easy to take the ball from their competitors as it is to take a toy from a baby, right? It's just like, it's almost like they're not in the same game. Like, they're just so lost in all their, like, multiple things that they focus on. They're just not so. But Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant got so much better at the fundamentals that nothing else mattered. Like, they just completely were, like, at another level from the competitors. So it's just like nobody could compete with them. No one. Like, it's too hard. They can't, because they just put their energy everywhere, right? And so they got nowhere. But if you focus on a few things and you do them really well, right? It's like Bruce Lee that says, I'm more afraid that someone that practiced one kick 1,000 times than someone that practiced like 1,000 different kicks. I'm not sure if it was kicks he was talking about, but you get the point. But then I watched also an episode of the Joe Janko show podcast, right, with Tony Robbins, and I was impressed that he got Tony Robbins on his show. I was like, really, like, whoa. Joe Janko is actually also a Christian entrepreneur, YouTuber, right, and podcaster, and I think he's a stand-up comedian, and I really like him. And on the episode, Tony Robbins was talking about how you can have a different perspective. You can take a different perspective in things, and someone could see. And I noticed, like, this is the case for me. Like, I'm really negative, unintentionally, without trying. I am genuinely, like, just negative. I just talk to myself negatively. I just see a lot of problems. I'm kind of paranoid. This is like my nature, I guess. But I can overcome that, and I can change. And so when Tony Robbins talked about this different perspective, it made me think, okay, I can just do that as well. I can think this way. I can take this paradigm, this way of viewing the world, that is a much more useful way of viewing the world. And he was talking about how two different persons could have the same circumstances and just see it in a different way. For example, he was talking about, okay, so someone could say, this earth is just like a bad place to live. Every time it rains, it's sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it rains, sometimes it's just too cold, sometimes it's just I don't like it. There's like clouds everywhere, just like not good, and the time changes all the time. It's just so freaking hard to live here. And someone could say, oh my God, thank you, I love this. You never get bored. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it's too cold, sometimes it's very, very cold, and you can just change temperature like this. It's just, you never get bored. It's just so awesome, right? And so I was like, this is how you need to change your perspective. You need to see things in a positive lens, right? You can reframe whatever happens in your life as a positive thing. And so I oftentimes just don't like when it's raining, right? I don't like it. It's just like, and I love when it's sunny outside. And I think the same day I was watching this episode, the day here in the city that I'm in, it's sometimes it rains, and next thing you know, it's sunny, right? I was like, this is actually like, it applies exactly here right now. Like, you can say you never get bored, like, actually. And I took this perspective. I was like, whoa, it was raining like 2 minutes ago. It was like just really dark outside, and now it's just full sun. I'm really happy. Thank you, God, right? And taking this perspective makes you stick longer, right? Because positivity is something that's just crucial if you're just positive and you see things in the right way, you put yourself a lot less pain. You put yourself through a lot less pain and a lot less suffering. And so you are able to have more energy throughout the day to do things that are actually useful and not complain, right? And it's just, you enjoy your life more as well. And in the same episode, Tony Robbins talked about the 5 steps to change your life. And he was saying, I think this was from one of his books, and I think this is very true. Like, this is what it takes to like, I noticed these things in me. And so these were: 1, desire, right? First, you need to want something. You just don't like your situation right now. You want to get somewhere, right? You need desire. And I think desire means, it is like etymology. I don't know how it's called in English. It's like the root of the word is desire or desire. It means from the Father, right? It's something that maybe God gives you, right? The desire, it's something like comes from, you don't know where it comes from. Sometimes maybe it comes from your childhood, from experience that you've been led to experience. And you have a desire, right? You have something that you want to go to, or something that you want to not happen anymore. And then there's a gap, right? And you notice the gap. You notice the gap between where you are right now, right? And where you want to go. Once you notice this gap, you can see what is preventing you from getting there. So this is the third thing. And what is preventing you is, for us, oftentimes an emotion, right? It's fear. Oftentimes it's fear. And I've made a few episodes on fear. I think they're great, especially the one where there's like a white thumbnail with like God tells you not to worry. This is what it's written on the thumbnail. It's a great episode where I just talk about how I overcame my fears. If you think this is the thing that is preventing you, just go watch this episode. And so once you notice what is preventing you, and what is preventing you may be fear, an emotion, but it also could be other emotions. Anger, maybe some kind of emotional baggage that you keep, right? Some kind of like desire for like vengeance, or you just didn't forgive someone. This creates like some kind of problem and friction, and something that makes you maybe believe, maybe it's a negative belief, a limiting belief. This could be preventing you as well. And habits as well. So these are like, first you have desire, second the gap, then what is between this gap? It's emotions, habits, skills, procrastination, all these things that prevent you from actually doing the things that are going to get you to your desire. And the fourth thing that you need to do is do something, right? Do something in the direction. I think yesterday, Alex Hormozy talks about being directionally right rather than exactly right. Like maybe just choose the right direction, right? In this, like, I definitely want to become an entrepreneur. I don't want to work for someone. This is not what I want. So this is directionally correct, right? You don't need necessarily to be choosing the exact perfect business, right? But you need to choose to actually go in business, because this will serve you, because going in business, even in the wrong field, will serve you to learn the skills. But if you go and just take a job that it will not teach you anything, you are directionally wrong, right? Well, you want to be directionally correct. And so this is what you do. You do something in the direction. You do just something. Just start moving and get momentum. Because once you get moving and start getting momentum, it becomes easier. And once you get momentum, you need to start taking massive, violent level of action. Just really, just massively pour all your energy into getting this thing done, right? Moving super fast, and with this momentum, with this massive level of actions, you are able to move through and pass all these fears, all these limiting negative beliefs, all these things that are barriers to your success and to get to your desire, you are able to move through all of them, right? So these are the 5 things. Desire, the gap. What's preventing you? What is the gap, right? Do something and do a lot of it. Do massive action toward it. And in the same episode, he was talking about how he became the best at he developed like the best skill in psychology, like in his field that is kind of psychology, right? He was able to transform people a lot faster and help people solve their problems, their psychological problems, their emotional problems much faster than any therapist could do, any people that had degrees in psychology and everything. He was able to do so much like, for example, there was a client of a therapist that was afraid of something. I think it was maybe from snakes for like 17 years, and he wasn't able to get her to pass through this fear. And Tony Robbins made the claim on television, so he got the attention of everybody, right? On television, he made a bold claim. He made the claim that he could make her like just erase this fear in 15 minutes. When he was not able to do this, and he was like a pretty good therapist, I think. And for 17 years, he wasn't able to, and he was going to do this in 15 minutes. And sure enough, he was on stage, and when he did that, and he actually like delivered on his promise, and he got the attention of everybody, and he proved to everyone that he was the absolute best. He over-delivered like crazy, and therefore, because he was the best, he had developed such a great skill in this particular field. He was able to do this for everybody. He got to do this for everyone in the world, right? And in the Founder podcast, he talks also about this idea oftentimes. You become the best in your field, and then you get to do it for everybody, right? Michael Jordan, he became the best at basketball, and he just became the best all over, like the entire world, right? Right now, especially right now with how a business is going and how you can do business online, you become the best in one thing, and then you get to do it for everyone, right? And so this is what you got to do. I told myself, you need to find what you're going to become the best at. Because right now, to be honest with you, I'm the best at nothing. This is hard to admit. And which is actually one of the next things that you need to do. And I'm going to tell you more about it, but it's telling the truth, right? Looking at your situation, like just how it is, right? I was like, okay, I'm not the best at anything right now. The absolute best, I'm not. And so I need to work toward becoming the best at something. And I still need to discover what this something is. It's just like when you don't know where you're starting up, you need to know where you are going, right? You don't need to know where you're going. Like right now I'm moving, I'm making money. I don't need to be the best to start getting momentum, to start doing something toward my goals and actually make progress. Because I'm directionally correct, everything will just follow through, right? It will like, at one point you will know what you need to be the best at. Or maybe at one point you will become the best at something without even realizing it, just by taking massive action toward the directionally correct direction. So yeah. And then I listened to Eliot Hulse. So right now I've already given you like, Tony Robbins is a great source of information, I think. I'm not sure if he's just a great person in all areas, right? Of like, I just know he's just got tremendous experience. He's got an insane amount of really useful knowledge, and he's created a lot of like successful people. And so I really think this will be a good a good source of information, a good source of things to go through. And the podcast of Joe Janko is great. and of founder, right? The founder podcast is great. And I think Eliot Hulse as well is a great person to follow. And I was watching one of his videos. Like, I really rarely watch videos. And I happened to come across one of his videos and it was appealing to me. I clicked on it, I watched it, and he was saying this. Be grateful for what you have, and then you'll start getting what you want, right? If you don't already use what you already have, you will not get more, right? You need to always already max up your current possibilities to be able to then be deserving of getting more. And so God will not give you more if you're not already grateful for what you have, right? Well, look, it was like, think of like, just if you were God, you would give someone something and he wouldn't be grateful for it. Like, God gives you something like, man, I want this, I want this. Just like a kid, right? It's just like, I want this toy, I want this toy. And he's not grateful for what he already has, right? Are you going to want to give him something more, right? Not necessarily, right? I've already given you this and you're not grateful for it. Why would I give you something else? So you need to be already grateful for where you are currently, what you have, and do the maximum with this, right? I think it was, I don't remember who he was, but he made the best with what he had at the moment. It was Tom Brady, right? He was in a team, he was not in the best team. He was in a position, he was not in the best position. But he made the most out of what he already had. And with this, he became better and better. And then he was deserving of getting more. And then he got into the best ones, right? And then he got in the best place. He got more because he was already using what he had at its full capacity. This is what you want. You have to do, right? You maybe already have an opportunity in front of you. You're not maximizing it. You maybe already have great things that you're not grateful for, right? What are the things that are the blessings that you have? And I'm going to give you 2 questions in a few minutes that is going to be tremendously useful. And Eliot Hulse was saying this, and he was also talking about how if God wants you to have something, he will make it easy for you, right? And so I was asking myself, okay, what comes easy to me? Okay. These things come easy to me. I should accept that. I should do this. And it helps you make decisions, right? And this doesn't mean that you need to not try hard, right? Not work hard. You do your part. And I'm going to tell you about this also in a few seconds, in a few minutes. And so, if God wants you to have something, it will make it easy. For example, he was talking about when he was trying to get a new house, right? And he wanted it. He had a lot of desire, but once he stopped wanting it, it came to him, right? He stopped wanting it. He stopped becoming attached. He stopped being attached. This is the thing. He had the desire, right? He had the want. He had this idea that he wanted this, but he was not attached to it, right? He was grateful for what he already had. He was like, you know what? Even if I end up in this for the rest of my life, I'm happy. I have a home. I have a beautiful family. I have food on the table. I already have all these things. I'm grateful for them, right? And I'm content. I'm good with this. If God wants me to have more, I'd love to, right? But I'm not attached to it. You can't demand things from God. You ask him, God, I want this if it is in your will, right? If it is in your will, you cannot dictate what you're gonna get in the future. You cannot control that. You can only control what you can do. And you put your best foot forward, right? You do the things that you need to do, but not being attached to the result. Once you stop being attached to the result and let go, even if it doesn't happen, it's not a problem. You just still do the work. You start noticing that things happen, and they happen for you in the right way. Because sometimes getting what you want is the worst thing that could happen to you, right? Maybe you want $1 million and you're not ready for it, right? You will get $1 million right now and you will blow it up. You will waste the worst opportunity in your life and you will, I don't know, like just make a party, like insane party and just party like crazy, become drunk, go drive, boom, get killed. In an accident. Like things can happen like this. And maybe God knows it and this is why he doesn't give it to you, right? So you need to become ready for what you want. You need to be detached and do the best to do, just like become this person deserving of that. Once you are really deserving of that, right now I'm not deserving of making millions because I'm not already, right? I don't have the skills to lead a great team. I don't have the skills to remain as disciplined as someone that makes millions, even though now I think I do have that. I do have the discipline, I think, for that, because I see plenty of millionaires have a lot less discipline than I do and still make millions, but I don't have some skill, right? There's something that I'm not ready for, or maybe God has a plan for me to do a lot more, right? And so if I got it right now, maybe I would become content. And so you need to become ready for your success and just let it in God's hands. This is the best thing you could do. And then I watched, I think right after that, I watched a Captain Sinbad video. I like this guy. He creates like really good looking videos and they're motivating. And in one of his videos, he was giving like 2 questions to ask yourself. I think it was a video on boredom and how boredom can be extremely useful. And these were the questions that he asked. What in my life is already working? And would it be helpful to me if I just found the time to do it more, right? And this is kind of what I told you with like maximizing what you already have. What is already working? Focus on that, right? Do more of this. And what in my life is taking away from these essentials? Because what is already working in your life might be the essential that you need. Sleeping really well, stretching for me, doing the few activities that get you clients, right? Doing the big leverage activity like training your team, right? Just do these kind of things that are already working for you, right? I trained my team. I've won, like I've saved up a lot of time and effort and energy, right? And mental energy as well, right? And so I need to do more of this, right? When I sleep 9 hours, this works extremely well for me. I should sleep more now. I should sleep more consistently. And what is in my life taking away from these essentials? Now, one of the essentials things that I was talking to you about, which is I just gave it to you right now. And I thought of this when Alex Hormozy talked about it in one of his episodes and one of his podcasts. And I'm trying to do this for like the past 3-6 months. I can't happen like to actually get my sleep schedule right. This is the thing. Sleeping really well. And this is a skill, to sleep. And this is the most important and hardest skill for entrepreneurs to develop and to keep. Because once you do this, everything becomes easier. You're less emotional because you have energy. You have more energy so you can do more things. You have more focus so you can do more things in less time. You have so many benefits to sleeping well. And I'm telling you, sleeping 8 hours is it's not good enough. You want to get to the highest level? I've seen studies that made it like on basketball, that players had a lot better performances when they slept 9 hours to 9 hours and a half instead of 8, right? So let me tell you, like, when I sleep 9 hours, I'm good. I have energy. And so you need to do this as well. You need to master your sleep. And most importantly, just sleep at the same exact time every single day, weekends included, right? And this is the sacrifice that you need to do, right? And he was talking about how he he's sleeping every day at 8:30 p.m., right? And I've been trying to do this for the past 3 to 6 months. I didn't know he was trying to do this. I was already trying to sleep at exactly 8:30 p.m. And I was not, like, I always sleep at like 9:15. I can't get myself to sleep at 8:30 exactly. And so when I heard this, I was like, hey, if he's doing it, I'm doing it as well. I was going to swear right now. I was like, F this. I'm going to do this, right? But this is really one of the most important things you could do, like legit. If you sleep well, you will make better decisions in your business. You will do a lot of more things better. And also I was watching the Georgienko show with Alex Bokerman, I think. And George was saying about how in one Bible, there was a missing verse. And the missing verse was extremely important because it was basically like Jesus saying, if you have faith as big as a mustard seed, I'm telling you, you can move. If you tell this mountain to move from here to there, it will move, right? So you can do like immense things like this. But this will not happen, and this is a verse that was taken away from one of the Bible. But this will not happen unless you fast and pray. And so this is the most important thing of the verse. Like, if you don't fast and pray, it will not happen. And so you need to do this. I think it will. When I do fast, I notice my prayers just get answers very fast. I'm going to tell you about something right after. God helps me, and I actually felt the presence of God this week. And this was after I was praying. And fasting is some kind of sacrifice. It's something that you would like to eat, for example, and you don't eat it. So if you hate broccolis and you fast from broccolis, it's not a fast, right? It's just, but if you do fast maybe from social media, from watching movies like I did, right? Right now I haven't watched a movie for I guess something like 30 days. I hope it's like 30 days because I just can't wait to watch movies again. I'm really addicted to movies. Like, I really love movies. But I stopped that, right? Because I can't fast with my food because I've got a specific like thing that I need to keep, a specific diet that I need to keep to stay healthy, because I have bad inflammation and something. I didn't think it was useful for me to fast from food because food was not like a pleasure for me. Like, the only thing I eat is steak and rice every single day. And that's it, right? I think this is a fast in and of itself. Like, if you like a lot sugar and things like this, right? I don't eat any of it, right? So if you could fast from sugar, I think. This is what I believe, right? I'm not telling you like maybe go to your church and listen to them. Anyway, when I fasted, and at one point I did a 30-minute walk, and I just did the rosemary. Like, I prayed Our Father and one Our Father, right? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom, right? And 5 Hail Mary, right? And so I did this like 5 times. And while I was walking, right, just taking a walk, nobody, like, it was Sunday. And at the end, I just prayed God. I was feeling a lot of doubt, a lot of bad things, just problems in the business. Didn't know what to do. Just struggling, doubtful, not having enough faith. And I was like, God, help me. I don't know what to do. Help me find a way. And I felt alone as well, lonely. Like, people don't understand you when you're an entrepreneur. Like, if you're not around a lot of entrepreneurs, I think you feel alone most of the time. You feel lonely. And after this, I came back home. I had to clean up some cleanup to do, and I was listening to music at the same time on Spotify. And I don't have the subscription because I don't listen too much. I don't need, and I have like the random playlist, right? So I can't choose which music I listen to. I just hit like a playlist, and it plays whatever music it plays. And oftentimes I don't get the music I want. I don't like the music it plays. And when I came back from this walk, I listened to a playlist, and I only got the music just like I loved. I loved listening to this music. And it was music that actually was like almost talking to me. And I felt like it was God comforting me, right? I was feeling a lot of doubt, and the music was like, one of the music was, for example, I felt very lonely, I felt like bad, I felt like sad, and I didn't know what to do. And the music was from, Alone from Joe Jonas, right? From the Jonas Brothers. It's the music from Devotion, the movie Devotion. So when I would listen to this music, I watched the movie, I listened to this music at the end, I think, and I loved it. I was like, oh, I need to listen to this music a lot more. I just loved it. And this music came up, right? And I was like, at one point I was, honestly, like I was weeping. I was like, and this not really rarely happens to me. I was weeping because I really felt the presence of God, like guiding me, like just, you're not alone, I'm with you, right? Because it was not a random thing that I felt alone, I prayed God, and then I never, this music never comes up, right? When I listen to Spotify, I never, and this time it came, and I needed it. And then there were other music, and all the music, like the 3 or 4 or 5 music back to back, were exactly what I needed. And I was weeping. I was like, God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is what I needed. And I think this was because I prayed. I prayed, and I kind of fasted. I did this walk. This was kind of like a sacrifice to God. And I was actually talking to him. I was like trying to connect. And I think he answered back. He gave me what I needed. And I went on with my weekend. It was good. I felt better. I really felt better. And so my prayer was answered. And in the same episode with Joe Janko and Alex, he was talking about faith and relying on faith to make you moves instead of relying on money. Because he was basically waiting to get a certain amount of money to retire his dad. And because he was scared, right? And I think I made an episode on what would you do if you were not afraid. And this is oftentimes what you need to do. You do things that you would be usually scared of doing, that you usually you're not sure about this. Now, don't be reckless, right? Don't go and just, just make some stupid, bad financial decisions. You still need to be like somewhat like, you need to use your discernment, right? Ask God what you need to do. And the way you do this is also by fasting and praying. Fasting and praying is like, you can pray every day without fasting, right? You can ask God and you can have faith and move like great things. But for some things that are very difficult, something that you struggle a lot with, it requires more, right? It requires more of a sacrifice. It requires more of a specific, of an intense ask to God. And so you need help with this. You need the help of God. You cannot go through this on your own, especially when it comes to going over your fears. Getting over your fears, right? This is very hard to do. If this is something that you struggle with, ask God. Fast and pray. Ask God to help you out, because it's the only way you can move through this. And so I was like, okay, I might be relying on money right now, right? I might not be moving right now based on faith, but based on the money I have. Where are you waiting for money to make you move instead of relying on faith, right? This is something very hard to do, especially when you're afraid of, for example, for me, like going broke is a very big fear of mine. But you should not be afraid. You was talking about in the same episode about how you cannot be scared of. You need to be afraid of God. You need to have the good fear of God, that you don't want to. What's the word? You don't want to let down God, and so because you want to, just make it so that God likes you, right? You're just so reliant on God's permission. It's not that. It's like you're fearful of letting God down, right? Of not living up to his expectations, right? And so you're fearful of this so much. You really have a fear of God that you cannot have any other fear, right? You cannot be scared of dying, for example. And maybe this is something that I really struggle with this, right? I have a lot of fears. And I really don't like when I speak like that. I don't want to get too personal on this podcast because I'm just... Anyway, I'll just tell you. But I do this podcast and I almost don't want it to get any views, right? Because I talk about like things that I don't necessarily want people to know. Like I'm just here like on my phone right now, right? And I don't think that there could be like a lot more people watching, especially people that I know. And if people know that I struggle through all of this, I don't like it. I don't like people perceiving me in this way. And maybe this is one of the reasons why, as an entrepreneur, it's pretty hard. It's lonely because you're not understood, because you don't show all these things, right? You're not vulnerable with people in real life. Anyway, I was saying, you need to not be scared of losing money, of dying. You should be scared of God, right? And this is like, if you try to make a logical path toward this, you understand like, okay, yeah, it makes sense, right? But it's super hard to apply. It's really, really hard to apply. I don't know. Honestly, I'm just telling you this, sharing this with you, maybe so you feel less alone in this. But I don't have the answer to that. I don't know how to like actually like do the things without fear, right? I guess you got to do the thing with like still with the fear and still do it. And this is what being courageous is. But it's really hard to move with faith and not move with money, right? And so, yeah, I told you about how I felt the presence of God watching over me, and I was weeping. So that's a good thing for people to know about me, right? Cool. And at one point, someone got me angry, right? I was getting angry, and I realized that I should not be angry. I was angry at someone because he talked to me like I was not going through anything, right? He talked to me like I was in my comfort zone right now, and like you'll see at one point you'll get stuck as well, right? You'll get struggle as well, and it pissed me off because I was like, what are you talking about? And I was not, at first I didn't realize why I was getting angry. Then I had to journal on it, right? And notice why. And when I noticed why, I realized, okay, well, I should not be angry. And the reason why I was angry is because he did not understand. I was going through a lot of things. I just don't show it. I had so many doubts, fear. I feel lonely. I was losing faith. I lost confidence in myself. I don't have the confidence in myself to make the right decisions. I feel like I'm just going to lose everything right now. He doesn't know about all my addictions and all the things I go through. But it's because of me. I don't tell him, right? I don't tell people this. I don't show people this side. And this is why I'm just kind of reluctant to share this. Hopefully this doesn't make any views. And yeah, I don't show that. And when I do on this podcast like this, I just like, and people come to me and just tell me, hi, I've seen this and thank you for sharing this. It's cool. So I'm happy this was useful. But I don't like people seeing my, like, all I share here right now, like basically all I share here is just my vulnerable self, right? It's just like the things I go through and the, like, kind of sharing the realness, right? I don't want to be perceived like this, right? But maybe it's best like this, like I share what the truth is, and so people can maybe relate on that and not feel so alone like I do. And yeah. And one thing that the devil might get you on, because I realized this when I had a great day, right? I had a perfect day, and at one point I realized, like, I finished early. Hey, I'm good. I did everything that I was supposed to. I'm 1 hour early. I'm good. And so I was done when I was eating, right? I was eating dinner, watching a podcast, and I was good. I was like, well, it's 6:30 p.m. I'm good. Hey, I can watch a little bit more, right? And then I realized, looking back on, actually, I didn't realize it at the moment, but I just slipped through a little bit, like, okay, I can watch a little bit more of the podcast. Oh, okay, I'm good. Next thing you know, I was sleeping later than my usual days. How is this? Because at one point, at 10 p.m., I was journaling. I was like, what the heck happened here? I was good. I was winning. And then I let my guard down, right? I let myself think, hey, I won. That's it. I'm done. I'm good. And then the devil just got me a little, like, complacent. I'm good. I'm good. And then I just did not do the things that I was supposed to right away. I delayed. And next thing you know, I'm not sleeping at 8:30. I could have largely hit my goal this day and sleep at 8:30 p.m. Largely, no questions. I was going to be in bed at 8:30. I was done with everything. But I let myself sleep a little bit. Next thing you know, it's 10 p.m. And I realized this is what's happening actually every single day. Every single day, there's the one single little thing that I don't notice that prevents me from sleeping at 8:30 p.m. And because this is one of the most important things I could do to increase my results and just completely change the directory of my life. This is where the devil gets me. And this is maybe where the devil gets you as well. When you think you're just, you're good. You won. We're good. Boom. Like this, it takes just a split second in your mind to just agree with something that is kind of a relaxed, chill. It's good. And boom. Slowly and slowly, every single day, he prevents you from doing this, just one little shift that could take you just completely in another place. And it prevents you from doing this. And it prevents you from succeeding. So please, to stop this, journal, right? This is what I did to actually, like, notice this. And now that I've noticed it, I'm going to prevent this from happening. I'm going to make sure that when I'm good. It's 6:30 p.m. I'm done. Let's go. It's time to right now get to the goal. Sleep at 8:30. Be in bed at 8:30 p.m. Do all the things that you need to do at the end of the day, and boom, you sleep. And this way, I'm actually going to get to my goals. And this way, maybe you will be getting at your goals as well a lot faster, and not let the devil prevent you from doing this. If you like this show, like it, subscribe, share it with someone that you think it might help. Although, just don't share it too much because I don't want people to know too much about this stuff. But yeah, if you liked it, just please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in another one.